Which podcast are we doing? What do you want to start with?
I thought
You want to do No More Heroes?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So I should probably say... Welcome to a brand new episode of No More Heroes. I'm one of your hosts, Andy Malafrino. With me, as always, the Duke of Dookie himself, Pat, the wife fucker George.
Hey, that's me.
You got a wife, he gonna make love to her.
That might be out of context, depending on how much
I edit out. But just be knowing, Pat, be fucking your wife. Today,
I've had coffee.
You've had coffee?
I've had water.
You've had all your friends' wives.
I've had pizza.
And
I've had... Oh, wait, you know what I need? Truth.
And today on No More Heroes, we will provide you all the truth, giving you a daily dose of some wacky shit. I've been trying to think
the videos daily, guy.
Yeah, giving it a daily dose. We will be injecting fentanyl into you.
Yes, and the water supply.
Yes, this is a 4D podcast. Yeah, are we in the top 20% of video podcasts? Yes. Must not be a lot if No More Heroes is there. Must not be a lot of video podcasts. But we are going to be the first 4D podcast to inject you with fentanyl. But, Today I'm very intrigued. That's this is fentanyl vision. Wah, 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 wah. Stop resisting.
This is fentanyl vision.
But today on No More Heroes, I'm very excited to get into this one because it was funny. I declared it at the end. I declared it. I said, Andrew Malafrina, declare this is the next topic. And I realized I may have not looked into it enough.
Yeah.
Because the second I looked a little bit more into it, everything interesting about it just disappeared.
Yeah.
So basically today we're talking about Apollo 20, but also I'd like to, you kind of talked about this last time, I'd like to also talk about the Apollo program in general. Because once I realized the original conspiracy had... basically nothing to it.
So yeah,
I then got interested with a lot of the Apollo program.
I ended my research. So I covered basically the Apollo program. So
that's perfect.
I
because
forgot about Apollo 20.
Well, no, it's fine. So when we get into Apollo 20, or let's just talk about Apollo 20 out of the gate, because this is what happened to me. So last week we did the episode "The Moon is Weird." Go check that out if you haven't. I thought it was a really good fucking episode.
Yeah.
So I'm doing all this research about the moon. Once again, going into it, this will be kind of fun. Leaving it going, I have so many more questions. And the moon, to put it simply, is weird as fuck. And in my research, we are researchers.
Yep.
As moon journalists, we are deep researchers. The way Pat's deep in your wife.
Deep researcher, baby.
Deep researchers, Andy and Pat.
Deep in them cheeks.
Deep in them cheeks of moon research.
We go deep into cheeks with moon knowledge.
Oh, is that an article about the moon? I'm about to clap that moon article's cheeks. That's how No, I will not pay for it, Business Insider. But no, so I was Stanry, we're talking about space.
Stop.
Not cats today. We're talking about space. So it was funny. So I was doing the research into moon and space and all this other shit, and I stumbled upon this Y-Files videos about Apollo 20, and I got a little bit into it, and then I just was going on to other stuff, and I go, that's really interesting. That might be a good side topic for the next episode. So I brought it up to Pat. I go, Pat, let's talk about Apollo 20. And he's like, that sounds like a good idea. So immediately I start researching Apollo 20, and I actually finished the video. And when you get to the end of the video, he basically is like, oh yeah, that was all made up by a guy who made a video to test his practical effects skills. And it's not just like a convenient little story to get people off the trail. The guy did many interviews because he was actually I think he was getting mad where he was like, no, I'm really good at this. And he showed all of his stages, his equipment. There's one part of it where they talk about finding
Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, he's like, I also didn't die.
I did that.
because I think he was mad for not being able to get credit for it.
Yeah.
And literally, there's an interview he's doing. So in the Apollo 20 footage, you see this like female alien body, and in the video in the guy's interview, he just pulls out that body.
Yeah.
And it looks exactly like it.
Because it is that.
Because it is that. And it really but it really heightens how like you kind of gotta be thorough with these conspiracies, and it sucks too because you can't just like take it. Like this is the most annoying thing about conspiracies is like you can't just take people's word on things.
So,
you have to go like, all right, you're making a decent argument, but now I'm gonna have to spend a day researching this.
Yeah. Where'd you hear that? Just do one or two cursory little searches. But I will say this: in my research of the Apollo program, I feel like I actually. This is the weirdest thing, right? So. At the end of this, we do the notes and everything. This is one of the first times I actually feel like every one of them I'm retaining the stuff, but I actually feel like I understand and like learned actual things that I've been told my whole life. You know, does that make sense?
Sorry, do you still have that timer going?
Yeah, it's 8:10.
Okay, sorry. Go on.
But it's basically. The fact that when I research this, I can see the beginning, middle, and end of it.
Okay.
Right? So like, so with when I was doing the Apollo thing, so I was also trying to think of like, I usually try to put like what it is. I just put Apollo program.
Yeah.
But then I put in quotes, the world's greatest distraction or a happy accident.
Dude, you got to write for local newspapers.
I'm telling you. And look at this shit. Like
Jesus.
This is probably my most thorough notes of all time.
God damn.
And I'm gonna take you on a journey. This might even be a two-parter.
Yeah.
But if we can't get through it all, I don't want to rush this.
No.
Because
let's not rush it.
There's a couple parts of this that are kind of like, and then the astronauts blew up, and then
honestly, Pat, I'm just coming into this. I will be. But I'm happy to see all your notes because I'll freely admit I did drop the ball a little bit on this research after the Apollo 20 debacle.
You were really fucking. You were kind of dismayed, and you were really discouraged.
But I did watch past like 2 days. I did watch a bunch of shit about the Apollo program, and I did have a lot of like interesting takeaways I'd like to touch on. But you got the fucking notes going, so you can definitely drive the bus on this one today.
One last thing, actually, I have one last Google. I need to.
Well, while you're looking up that, my one key takeaway, it did, we always talked about that there's a high possibility they faked the initial moon landing. That doesn't mean we don't think they went to the moon.
Yeah.
But then, so there's this really interesting doc. I may have watched like 20, 30 minutes of it last night before I got distracted with pornography. You know how it goes. You go, I'm going to come home from the club and I'm going to watch a whole documentary. And then pornography's like, I'm right here, idiot. But I got like 20, 30 minutes into it's on Amazon, but if you don't mind commercials, it is on Tubi. It's just called Apollo 11.
Okay, yeah.
And the way that they do it is they actually just take like film footage shot to like the lead
alleged film footage.
Alleged film footage of actors at which I gotta be honest, this may make me sound dumb. First thing I thought, I didn't realize how many people it takes to shoot a rocket up.
Bro. I learned that's another thing I learned a lot about was like how crazy a couple of these like things were.
Yeah.
And like how many like we all know about like Apollo 13 from the movie and shit like that.
That's really the one most people know.
But like how many other missions that had like this thing where they're like there was a mission, one of the missions was as they were trying to ascend to the moon, the fucking navigation thing told them kept trying to abort the mission. So they had to redo their computer. They had to like basically redo their computer system in space. Yeah. And basically land manually on them. And it's like it's like the things that they've gone through and the other things. It also added a whole nother like you're watching Tom Hanks and you're watching fucking Kevin Bacon floating through space when you're a fucking young child at the drive-in, such as I.
Yeah.
And you don't notice the levity of the fucking situation that they were in. So I like I said, I did a ton of detail in that stuff, but like also like just the fact that they're
Wait, the levity?
No.
Do you mean the brevity or the
No.
like? Are you saying like the weight of?
Yeah. I used the wrong term.
Because when you said that, I was
sorry.
like,
I'm my brain is fried right now.
it's fine. The second I was like, I think he means the opposite of that word.
Yeah. The severity. That's the
yeah,
word.
just the
I knew it was
overall
an
weight.
arity.
Well, and that I was watching that. Was it Apollo 13? No, I think it was Apollo 11 where they like overshot the mark, and then they had to in real time adjust. And it really goes back to, with the moon conspiracies, when they talk about these guys coming back to Earth and they look like they saw something insane. And it's like, honestly, dude, I think going to the moon is enough. Bro, if I have a long travel day with a layover, I'm tired for a day. Can you imagine coming back down to Earth from outer space? Your body's gonna be fucked up for a week or two.
And I didn't realize how many of these guys. I thought they were all like just science dorks, but a lot of these guys are literal pilots.
They're pilots, yeah.
Almost all of them. Like some of the, one way that they used it, they used the term was discoverer or what's it called? Explorers. And it's like, yeah, because
they are.
like legitimately, these are guys that are like, I have no idea what. The reason this whole tangent started was because you were saying like what it took to shoot a guy into space.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the thrusters and then the actual like physics of it. Like how many it's like watching the Wright brothers being filmed the entire time.
Yeah.
Like watching the entire process because like they're like, well, what if we have this hatch and then what if we like the first Apollo thing, Apollo 1 was a fucking disaster.
That was the one on the test. The guys got fried.
In the thing, and not only that, but they basically what NASA did was effectively built one of the most expensive incinerators in
Dude, they really did.
And the most effective. That they're like, no, it's not done yet. You can't open the door because there's so much pressure in there because of how hot it is.
Because like Challenger was sad, but like at least they got to the launch pad.
Yeah.
And at least they got up.
Couple of them, yeah.
These guys were like, all right, here's the first test to see if this is plausible.
They're on the thing, and they're just going like, okay, so here's this. Oh, this isn't working. By the way, the first one, they went through with it. Hold on, I think I might actually have that in the notes. But like I think it was Apollo 1. They rushed the design because. So let's just. Do you want to just start?
Well, no. This also throws in an element of it too, where I was kind of being more critical because I'm a big fan right now. I'm a big fan of JFK, but some of this space shit was making me a little bit more critical of him because really, like.
No.
What?
I know exactly what you're. I think I know what you're talking about.
Well,
but yeah. I have a different theory concerning
Sure.
that,
But
yeah.
like, so, because it kind of coincides with like, well, why didn't we ever go back to the moon? Because it does feel like the moon shit was a big proponent of like JFK shit, and it was really guided by like American bravado to be like, we're not gonna let the Russians bitch us out,
Yeah.
And it's like he has that speech where he's like, we don't do it because it's easy.
It's a quote. He's quoting somebody else. You don't do it. It was a person who was going up to climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah, we don't.
And he's not doing it because it's a hard. Or we don't do it because it's easy. We do it because it's hard.
Yeah, we do it because it's hard or whatever. And it's just like then when you look back. And I was watching the one video, they were adjusting how much the Apollo mission cost. They adjusted it for real dollars, and you find out some of those Apollo missions were like $160 billion.
Yeah.
You're just like, well, I mean, I don't know if we had to do all that just to big dick the Russians, to big dick the Soviet Union. I mean, I don't know. It like makes me kind of look at
because it's there.
Yeah, it's because it's just like
it's so funny.
Yeah, that was the Everest quote. That was the Everest quote. They're like, "Why'd you climb Mount Everest?" He's
because
like, "Cause."
Yeah.
And like we're all supposed to be like, Wow, what a deep guy.
I don't know. You're asking me about it. You must be interested.
And then there's like in the one Apollo doc they had. Did you see this shit about the different? I forget the gentleman's name, but he was basically the guy who took over Martin Luther King Jr.'s shit after they assassinated him. And they had he took him and a bunch of other black protesters to the Apollo.
White man on the moon.
No.
Whitey on the moon.
Whitey on the moon.
Whitey on the moon.
It's a really great. I guess you'd call it a poem or whatever it is.
Slam poem.
But they bring Def Jam.
That's the original slam poem. They're like, hey, NASA, why are you sending white folks to the moon?
But no, dude. I remember hearing it a while ago, like looking up some other shit about like civil rights, and it's like they basically describe something really bad happening in the black community, and then they go, but Whitey on the moon. Yeah. And I'm like, honestly, when you put it that way, you make a good argument.
Now, the way I saw it described too was even more. It was more culturally ambiguous. It was just saying there are hundreds of thousands of starving people in the world, or even like just in the U.S. Homeless, starving, all this other stuff. People that need shit here, and you're spending millions of dollars, billions and billions of dollars to just blow white people up on a launching pad.
To just burn. No, it's like all the black people.
The smartest and strongest and bravest people. Like the people that are like the jocks that are also the nerds. Like you're killing the best of the closest thing we have to superheroes until autistic people.
But no, dude, then you have some black people in the 60s like, now, I appreciate you burning up all them white folk, but I wish you wouldn't waste so much money doing it, brother.
Now, that's a mighty expensive cross now.
I ain't gonna complain about some crispy-ass white folk. No, I will not. But could you send us a few of those dollars, Mr. Government Man?
Yeah, maybe some of these poor motherfuckers that cut me off in traffic and try to beat me up in front of my wife at the store.
Damn, why don't you send Daryl from down the block up into space? Shit.
But like, so, and that's the funniest thing is the fact that like I totally understand that point too, but I think again, if we were talking about advancements since Roswell.
Yeah.
And then advancements since then. Like, we figured out Roswell shit, like, from 1948 or 47, I believe it was. I can't remember exactly.
47, yeah.
To now, to 1961. 1958 is when NASA was started, but 1961 is when the first...
NASA's argument is just like, you got to understand.
Yeah.
In 47, all we were doing was shooting shit at this stuff. We had to put money into this.
You guys don't understand. This paper...
It's rather tough.
It was rather tough.
And we got Billy Bob just hitting it with a hammer and blowtorching it.
We got this guy blowtorching this metal. It wouldn't even bend. We tried to bite it. We tried to fucking rip it. We tried to cut it. We tried to fuck it.
I will say, though, black people should be happy about NASA because the acronym before NASA, when you say it out loud, it does not sound great.
NASA?
No, it... No, dude. That's so funny. No, it was literally NACA, which if you say that one, it's close too.
I'm not going to say that one.
I don't want to say that one out loud because that one's also close.
We don't even get the soft A, guys. Definitely not a hard R, but never a soft A either. Guys, not the soft A's.
I don't even dislike space. Can you just not make it sound like the word you guys call us?
Yeah, please. And they're like, all right, NASA. They're like, thank you. Wait a minute. NASA sounds like... Never mind.
Whatever.
Don't make that connection.
Close enough, you dumb white motherfucker.
But so this was... Okay, the timeline that I have...
Hit me.
It's a pretty interesting one. And the theory that I ended up with, I think is crazy. Not crazy. It's not crazy, actually. It's probably one of the most consistent ones.
Can I ask this? Is it crazy how, like, every time when we talked about cattle mutilation, and every time you bring it up, and you're like, yeah, I think it was space teenagers.
It's so hard to explain that out of context.
As I'm saying it, I go, that sounds fucking retarded.
To say then that if you sit down for an hour and you talk about it.
But if you listen to the first half of that one episode, it actually sounds pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it's like one of those things of like, you know what?
So it's on that level?
No, it's even on a level where like it's just like I think this is how it happened.
Okay.
Like, I think this is legitimately and so and I'll even bring it to current day. I'm talking.
Yeah, him, because we're just doing like the NASA program.
So
and once again, take your time. If this needs to be a two-parter, it's a two-parter.
In 1961. So this is when
that's when JFK was like, we need to go to the moon.
Well, it's because of Yuri Gagarin was the first man in space. Weeks later, the U.S. sent Alan Shepard.
Yeah.
So Yuri did it, and then Kennedy was like, essentially they sent a cosmonaut into orbit.
So yeah, the cosmonaut did a lap around the Earth.
Right. So
and then we were like, we're gonna.
We did it weeks later.
Yeah.
Like that was how quick it was. But,
oh wow.
Yeah. So so Kennedy made the proclamation after that he intends on landing a man on the moon and bringing him home successfully. And at the end, at that time, the U.S. had.
What if he actually was like, "We're gonna start with burning him alive,
well,
then we're gonna shoot him into orbit." Well,
like, we gotta kill this fucking monster.
Wait, JFK, what?
Yeah,
Wait,
that's why he was shot.
He was like, "No, I want to burn them."
He's like, "I want to see him die on the launching pad."
I want to see him, Chris, but maybe we. Wait, what was the
original recipe?
What's Norma Jean's real name? Or fake name? That was her real name. Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, why don't you send Marilyn up there?
Let's see how tits handle in zero gravity. I just want to see if they're perky. Kennedy, he made that. But so at that time, when he made the proclamation, that when he said all right, we did that.
Yeah.
We did. Alan Shepard went up there.
What's
boom.
next, pussy?
He did he said we're gonna go on the moon. At that time, the U.S. It had exactly 15 minutes of flight experience in space.
Wouldn't it be great?
Exactly 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
They
had 15 minutes.
Up there and he's like, "Whoa, we did it!" And then he's like, "All right, see ya, coming back." And they're
like, "We're gonna go up there for like a while."
Yeah.
Do you think after he got,
we're gonna do that for longer?
Do you think we're gonna do that for longer? And they're gonna walk around? They might do a flip. Do you think after he said that, all of his aides were like, "The fuck was that, dude? We didn't talk about that."
They're like looking through their notes. They're like, "What? We didn't agree."
Who told him to say they'd
Did
walk?
you tell him we could get to the moon?
Jesus Christ! He didn't let us do Northwood. Now he's doing this.
Like the moon?
What the fuck?
So, Werner von Braun, you know him.
Love him.
Was a German-American aerospace engineer at the space and a space architect.
Wait, he was a German. Did he have any association to any other German
I didn't
stuff?
see anything before 1960.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1958 is when NASA
he wasn't really
started.
doing a lot before like the mid 40s, right?
I don't think so.
Dude, that was.
He was keeping. Oh no. Oh wait, I have it here. He was a member of the Nazi Party.
Oh,
and
Hitler's.
Yep, the SS.
Adolf,
and a leader in the development of the rocket.
SS. Sorry, I'm sorry.
He was a leader in the development of the rocket technology in Nazi Germany. He also worked. His work included the V-2 ballistic missile, the world's first long-range guided missile, which was the immediate ascendment of those who use space exploration programs. So that's basically what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was one of the connections.
How directly it was?
Well, that I was like, oh, we need a guy that can shoot a rocket. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
It's a rocket.
Yeah.
It's basically a missile, but instead of putting ballistic shit at the top,
you put a steering wheel
human
on.
beings.
Yeah, you put a steering wheel on it.
That's the bullet, is the human.
Well, I was laughing.
Go,
I was laughing too, learning about that dude. Because I remember joking where it's like I knew about Operation Paperclip, which I watched a short video on that, and I didn't realize. Like I thought it was a couple Nazis.
Yeah,
it was like 1,600.
Yeah,
that's so many Nazis, dude.
So this is the thing.
Oh, and then they said in the one video I was watching, Werner von Braun.
Yeah,
they were like, no, it's not that he helped. It's we wouldn't have this without him.
Right.
He was the key component to space travel.
Like NASA existed 2 years before they were apparently doing anything. Really. Like anything for real. Because he joined it in 1960. And he was the first director of its Marshall Space Flight Center. So 1961 is when NASA starts.
Okay.
They had 16 crewed missions, CREWED, in 5 years, just to learn how to function in space.
Okay.
So that. This is what I'm saying is like the NASA. I feel like I don't know if there's going to be another time where like basically a whole country except for black people, sorry, that are really fucking like focused on one particular goal of like getting to space.
Yeah,
they're like, we want equal rights, and they're like, yeah, but we got to get up there.
Yeah,
just
dude.
1 second. Once we get to the moon and back, we're gonna give you the civil rights.
Yeah, guys, don't worry. We'll stop once we get guys up there. We'll totally stop redlining and all that other gay shit we do.
You're sure? Okay, and they like shook hands, and then they're like,
no, people don't know. Like literally, it was we went to the moon and then remember the Titans. That's how it happened.
Sunshine. 1967, Apollo 1 rushed the design, and there were still many defects. They couldn't even communicate with the pilots from the launching pad.
That's so funny.
So, like, when they were doing these tests, like, there's actual tape of this too. I would suggest people try to find it because it is. I think this is the same. It's this. Well, first of all, it turns horrific, obviously, but at first it is kind of funny because the guy is talking about. The captain is talking about like, how the hell are we gonna hear you in space? Because he's a 1960s. Every single astronaut had this. They're all space cowboys.
Yeah,
they're all space southern, brilliant, brave, like pilots.
Dude, they're like they're most
military pilots that are like astrophysicists.
They're the most fun dudes.
Yeah.
They're like really, really fucking smart, but they're also southern, so they got like the cool drawl. And like there was some dudes I saw who 3 of the guys on the one mission all had matching gold Corvettes.
I think it's these guys, yeah.
Yeah, they're all like that was the funny part. It's like they're all really smart. Like Buzz Aldrin wrote like this fucking had these like super advanced PhDs, but they're all fucking pilots at the end of the day. So they're goddamn fucking Top Gun dudes.
So so that's the other thing that I really thought was interesting was like the theory of like a greaser. You know what I mean? Like the guys like leather jacket and a white shirt and the fucking jeans.
Yeah.
That is completely made up. You know that?
Really?
That they did not exist. They weren't.
You're telling me Fonzie's fake news?
That was like
so funny. I wish you guys could see
by the way, that did not happen on camera at all. I think maybe you might have seen her run in, but
yeah, it's so unfortunate none of that got on camera.
But like the greaser, like as we know it, like the slick back hair, the leather jacket and shit like that, that was portrayed in Hollywood and then people started doing it.
Yeah.
Like so like it wasn't like a thing and
That's
then Hollywood portrayed it. Like, it was a fake thing that Hollywood created that became a real thing. So like this is a reverse thing. I thought like every astronaut being like, hey, what's going on, little sister? Hey, mama, like this. And like, they're just like, oh, anyway, I know how to solve every problem. And I have $1 million. And I'm like, that is a real, it's
a real dude.
Super duper star. They're like comedians right now.
Yeah.
Where they're like, wow, you're a comedian? But like,
yeah,
it's actually earned.
Yeah.
With them.
You're saying about greasers? That's my theory on upper deckers. Like people shitting,
pooping
in the. I think that
somebody thought it was like an intrusive thought.
I think people just made that up as a joke, and then people started doing that.
So even though they couldn't communicate with the mission control from the launch pad,
it's so funny.
They still attempted to launch, which, like we talked earlier, resulted in them burning all of the pilots alive in the cockpit.
Yeah, dude, that's why you gotta let the fucking Soviets have a dub.
Let me give the details to this.
Please.
This is more horrific than the fucking Seagate thing, right? So the cockpit was 100% oxygen at the time. So as soon as there was a spark or a little flame, it immediately caught because even much despite the argument I got into with the respiratory therapist at my medical supply company job,
what?
Apparently oxygen is not flammable, but you cannot. It is one of the biggest igniter. I can't think of the word.
I know what you're trying to say, but I don't also know what to.
You can't have fire without oxygen.
Yeah.
But it's not flammable.
Oh, so the oxygen itself isn't flammable,
but if you
it
put
helps.
more oxygen in, it feeds the fire more.
Yeah, so the oxygen's not actually getting on fire.
But you cannot have fire without oxygen. And
Science is so confusing.
I said, so how can you tell me that it's it's not combustible is what he kept saying.
That's the word, not combustible.
Ask these motherfuckers if fucking oxygen is combustible, because 100% oxygen means that turned it into an incinerator.
Dude,
immediately.
It'd be so funny if they actually had the way to communicate, because the thing they would always big up these astronauts with, they would always hire the dudes who were able to like keep calm and stay cool under. And he's just like, Houston, we're all burning alive.
Well, no, he's like, we got a fire in here. Was the last thing they said. I think the next thing was like, you can kind of hear, and again, it's probably silver lining that they couldn't hear them, because the next one was a muffled scream, and then the radio cuts out, and they obviously explode in the cockpit. But what happened was the door was bolted shut, so it would have taken possibly 6 seconds each bolt probably to open it anyway. But even if they did, even if they unscrewed it in time, they couldn't open the door because of how much pressure there was. So they're because of how hot it was burning inside. So they built the exit to the door. They would have had to unbolt the door, open the door, and then come out of the ship. It wasn't meant to be open, essentially.
So they know. I guess it's hard to
like that easy.
Do they have a good guess on where the fire started?
It was right under the pilot's seat. Like there was like a small fire like right under there. So it looked like, at first I was like thinking, oh man, did their asses just burn while they're strapped? Like they just burned a lot, but no, it like boom, just immediately.
Yeah. Okay, so and then there was 100% oxygen in there, so that made the fire just go up real quick.
Yeah. So after a couple more unmanned tests, 1968.
After that one, they're like, hey, maybe we do a couple without guys with families.
They tested the piloted launch with Apollo 7. So like that was the one. They were like, let's not kill any more geniuses.
That's a big fuck up to be like, all right, one, burn them alive, and then
lucky number 7.
It wasn't until 7 they're like, should we do people this time? I think
we're out of monkeys.
I think we've killed enough monkeys and dogs. Why don't we try people again?
So December of 1968, Apollo 8 is launched.
Okay.
The first time
that was
around the moon.
Yeah.
Yep. He was initially meant to be this is what I'm talking about, the cowboy shit of it.
Yeah.
Like, so initially it started like where it was just going to be a bunch of nerds.
Yeah.
But like
we need these nerds to fly.
You think that like NASA is it's weird. What you have is, I think the whole group is, there's a bunch of nerds, but there are a bunch of nerds that are very skilled at solving problems.
Can I say this though?
What?
I think we look back at like when you see these videos of NASA in the 60s, the uniform was kind of short sleeve white t-shirt and the big horn rim glasses.
Yeah.
And like that's when you look back and you think they're all fucking nerds. I think if like there would have been more graphic tees in the 60s, we'd be able to decipher who are the nerds and who are the cowboys a little bit better.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing is like with science in general, science when you mix science with exploration, then you need a good mix of cowboy and nerd.
Well, because you think about it, I feel like there's two types of people who get into science. There's people who like want to be in the in crowd, but they're just too fucking weird for their own good, and like science embraces them. And then there's other guys who's just like, I'm gonna get on that goddamn fucking moon.
There's like
he forces himself to learn physics and flying and all that so he can get on the moon.
There's the Bruce Willis of the whole thing, where they're just like the thing of like, I'm gonna ride this meteor. And you're just like, what?
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, like we gotta. Okay, mathematically we can do this, Bruce, but like this is gonna take some time. He's like, I'm doing it now. No, you can't. All right. Well, he's dead.
Hey, Bruce, don't take this the wrong way. What the fuck?
I've got aphantasia.
No, I think that's what it is. There's the two there's like the two levels of nerds where, like you said, they have to be the cowboy and figure out something crazy, or they just are like, yeah, everyone else beat me up. This was the only group that didn't beat me up.
So the Apollo 8 mission was initially meant to be a test flight or to orbit Earth, but this is so funny. where
Bruce Willis was in the cockpit. He's like, I'm going to the moon. Fuck it.
the CIA reports saying the Soviets were preparing to orbit the moon. And NASA said, nah, we're going to do it. And they said, so at the time, the furthest a human had been from the planet was 850 miles. It was Gemini 11. This mission was going to be 240,000 miles. 100,000 miles.
Yeah.
240,000 miles.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. To go, again, this is the cowboy part of it, where they're like, we can do it for 850. Why couldn't we do it for 240,000?
Yeah, right.
Well,
just put more gas in there.
Resources and like,
dude, we can't just put more gas. We light you guys on fire way too fucking much. Wait, quick sidebar on the CIA thing. It's so funny because like my favorite part of doing whatever it might be, like conspiracies, government stuff, space stuff, you just get a knack for noticing things.
Yeah.
And when you said the CIA, dude, they must have been having so much fun during the Cold War, because when you're saying the CIA was just like, the Soviets are going to go around the moon. That's how fucking
what?
That's how MK Ultra started.
Yeah.
MK Ultra, the CIA was like, we got reports of the Soviets figuring out mind control, and then we were all like, no one's figuring out mind control before we do.
give me that LSD.
Give me a goddamn hey nerd,
Take this.
invent LSD. We're gonna give it to black people and prisoners
Right now.
right goddamn now.
So at this time, by the way, the tensions were really high concerning the war in Vietnam. In April, Martin Luther King was assassinated, and in 1968, Bobby Kennedy was assassinated.
Oh yeah,
in June of 1968. So
CIA was having a field day in the 60s.
they're just they're running wild, and that's what I'm saying. They're like fucking Hogan out there. They're it's, but that's why
Hogan out there. It's like,
not enough civil rights leader for you.
take that civil rights leader. Take this LSD.
And they're like, can you just stop killing our leaders, and also maybe just give some of that money to resources that would help us? And they're like, moon.
I'm gonna fuck you. I'm gonna leg drop 2 of the Kennedys.
So like this is where it kind of like that's what I'm saying is like they're making progress here.
Yeah.
But also like in this time they're definitely I think there's cowboy for sure.
Yeah.
But there's also plenty of time where they're like, I'm wondering again if it's not necessarily connected to the Soviets really.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a distraction from those things. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if they're trying to do more NASA shit, like again they're like, okay, so December of 1968 is when they're trying to do this, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to end the year strong with very strong American pride.
Yeah.
Pride in your country, pride in being like
Trying to make
an
everyone
American.
forget that they fucking murked the prez.
That they're killing they killed the president, they killed his brother, they killed the fucking Martin Luther King.
Maybe that was
multiple other and probably countless of other people that aren't huge names.
Maybe that was the trade-off though.
That's
CIA was like, we get 1 assassination, you get 1 moon trip. and then someone up high was like, guys, you're assassinating too many people too often.
Right.
And then the CIA was like, well, then they don't get to go to the moon.
No moon.
No moon? No
one more word and no moon for you, buddy.
I don't get to assassinate another black leader. You guys don't get to go to the moon.
What's that guy that took over for MLK? So in 1969,
good
March of
poem, but he's
1969, Apollo 9 was testing the lunar module.
Yeah.
1969, May of 1969, Apollo 10 was basically like a dress rehearsal. They basically kind of do like,
Yeah.
all right, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna map, because now they've been around the moon, and again that thought of like there's the first time that they sent that person around the moon, that was a complete. Their goal was so. Again, the cowboy of this. I know that there's physics involved, but a lot of times
to a point.
But a lot of time it's instinct. So like this thing, they said by our calculations, this is how we think it's gonna work.
Yeah,
is because again, like we said in the last episode, there's still tons of shit we didn't know about the moon way before we got there. There was we knew even less, obviously. So we were like, okay, we're gonna send this rocket 240,000 miles out this way.
Yeah.
And the way that we're gonna shoot it is where how we can get it is we're going to cut the engines right as it catches the moon's orbit.
Yeah.
Then it's going to ride around, and then there's going to be, I think, like 6 hours of radio silence where they cannot communicate. That's what you were bringing up last time. There's a portion of time when they're
6
behind.
hours?
It's hours of time. Like, it's a long time.
Whatever I was looking at was saying something about 47 minutes. So
No. This was like a couple. This was a couple of hours that they were at this time when they were around the back.
Come on, slapping his butt.
Hey.
Right.
But
okay.
but so like at least at this trip they were like,
because this was the first
we're just
one.
riding the orbit. I think they were catching the orbit, but how close it was either they're going to shoot it like this and crash into the moon.
Yeah.
Like they're going to go like this and they catch it and they kind of go wide and go bam right into the moon, or
They thought they were going to slingshot it.
or they're going to shoot them out into space. And they'll be like that's those are 2 options of 3, or they just go.
And that goes back to my not to keep bringing it up, but that goes back to my thing again about them being weird at the press conference.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, all this space shit.
Yeah,
that's why I think a lot of these like conspiracy guys is like, go watch those docs. Like that was the point I was gonna bring up earlier, where I go, you just seeing all the equipment, the fucking equipment they have to roll the goddamn spaceship out, like all the different components of it, and it's like, I'm not saying it's not faked, but you do have to acknowledge, I go, this is a lot to then just make it all up. And then, but then, the other element too, like you said, you're like, who says they just get in the orbit of the moon?
Yeah.
Who says the thing just doesn't launch them into the emptiness of space and they just have to have like, they just have to be like fucking Tony Stark at the end of the one fucking Avengers movie.
And this is the difference between science and religion, is like science will go from how we believe it, this is how it should go. Whereas like religion would go like, no, that's how it goes. We know. And it's like, no. We have no idea how this is going to go. We are putting it in science God's hands. 1969, they make up for the heavy year of assassinations with a lot of space travel in 1969. And I think that's part of the frustration of when they have the launch in July of 1969. They're doing it in July, America's fucking birthday month, right? They're doing it. They're working so hard to get this human progress, like humankind. But it is obviously the frustration is understandable. Like after 1968 being, well, let's say 1963 was the president, was Kennedy, and then 1968 was every other civil rights leader. Just like clear out the rest of them. Yeah. And then they're like, 1969, they're like, all right, back to this.
And then they're also like, we really had fun killing that one Kennedy. You want to do another one? You want to do twofer?
So this was another thing that I thought was really funny, was the successful landing in Apollo 11. Even that one, the navigation system was malfunctioning, and he had to make. This is why I'm saying. Like,
I remember this part.
Everything was redlined. Like they were like, okay, so we're going to use this lunar module. We're going to hope it works perfectly. But right before they landed, their navigation went out, and something else. I can't remember.
But this goes back to, and I think I'm thinking of the same thing. I think I'm thinking of what you're talking about. But this goes back to why, like, when it comes to stuff like landing on the moon and getting shot into space, that's where you need the cowboys. But when it comes to stuff like this is where you need the graphic tee nerds. Yeah. And there was, if I'm thinking of the one you're talking about, there was this one moment where they were like going to land and all the systems were shutting down. And I don't know exactly how the computers work, but there's this thing where it processes all the procedures, and there was.
I don't think it was this one, but I know.
There was like a couple Oh no, actually, I'm thinking of 2 different ones, because there was one where they were like, it was processing too many occasionally, and they literally just like, don't worry about it. Yeah. But then there was another one.
I think that was the next time.
This was the one I think you're talking about, actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, where like the system was just not working, and there was like one dude in the back who had studied the fucking guidebook enough times, and he's literally like, flip that one switch.
And he's like, no. And they were like, hit the F2.
Yeah. He literally was like,
hit F2.
There was literally a switch that was like, it was like CSG system or something random like that, and he was like, flip that switch, and then system override, and everything was fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like those are that's the match. You need the guy ballsy enough to fucking say like the navigation's out halfway through landing or whatever, and just be like, well, you got to land it.
Yeah.
But so that also I think would go to like the amount of stress that went into this already unknown thing, and them coming right back and going like, let's have a press conference. Be like, how was it? And just be like, I don't.
She's like,
I've fought in wars. I've fought like CIA planes. I've fought like I've flown
He's like,
Black Ops. Like
I don't know what I just did.
I don't know how to explain it to you, and like not even in a condescending way. I don't know how to put it into perspective.
Dude,
for
it's literally like
I can't imagine oblivion.
Like when people talk about what do they talk about? Like when people do what is it, MDMA? People, I always hear people say like people come visit them and there's something about like gnomes or elves.
There's like a whole different world.
There's like
people,
an elf thing, but like people when people talk about like the images they see, they're like you can remember them, but you're like I can't describe them to you.
Yeah,
and that's the same thing. I feel like it's similar with the moon, where it's like, yeah, I don't know how to describe half this. I don't know the feeling I'm feeling, like we were talking about before on previous episodes, like. The feeling of when you're on the dark side of the moon and you realize you're literally alone. You're not just like, we've all been out in the middle of nowhere.
We're the only 3 human beings in existence that have probably ever been right here.
Yeah, we've all been out in the middle of nowhere with limited cell surface and you feel pretty alone and vulnerable there. It's not like that. It's literally like you're alone. There's not a single person that could possibly help you in this moment.
And all of the air that you need to live has been hopefully accounted for by these people, even if you panic a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's
why you're not allowed to panic.
That's the other thing that I found.
You're not going to breathe too much.
Yeah, that was the other thing I found funny when they were just like how do you know how much fucking gas you need and shit like that? Because I think there was the one where they like overshot the landing, and they were literally like, "You're running low on gas, so you better fucking plant this shit."
Yeah. So after the successful landing of the after they landed on the moon, their budget was cut drastically.
Yeah,
and they only had enough for 6 more lunar flights.
Yeah,
which is still a lot. That's still a lot of money to be like, well,
because like
I only got enough for 6 trips to the moon.
I mean, yeah, because like I said, like when you hear the numbers and they don't seem crazy, but then when you adjust them for U.S. dollar, dude, honestly, they should make up a fake threat in the fucking space just to let everyone know. Because it's like, if there's someone that speaks a language we can't understand that we can bomb, government finds money for it.
Yeah.
Just to be like, dude, did you know there's Arabs on the moon?
And they're like,
we can kill Arabs on the moon?
You know why it's so hollow? Because it's filled with oil.
Oh, I can kill Arabs. It's just like, it's just Dick Cheney
can I?
Oh, we can kill Arabs on the moon. They get so excited.
So Apollo 12 was, this is the thing that I really am, I'm really I guess I'm frustrated and or confused by. Are people really this stupid and short-sighted, or if I may, fucking retarded? Because every time you go, because I'll just finish that. I'm sure a couple of you are watching this, maybe screaming at your TV or your headphones. You just pull them out and you go,
ah! Fuck you, Pat! Fuck you, Pat!
I think it's the fact that everybody goes, how come we never went back to the moon? They immediately did. They've been back. There's 6 times that we've landed on the moon. A couple of times they spent 3 days on the moon's surface.
Wait, what years were those?
All the rest of the Apollo program. Like the rest of the Apollo program, aside from third turn, were basically sending people to the moon and them just chilling out.
But I think what they mean is like after the 70s.
That's why I'll get into it.
Okay.
Because like if you're gonna hear some of the risk, I think eventually outweighs the, like they're like it's just a bunch of rocks.
Okay.
Yeah,
so they're like, it's like, why don't you
go back to the moon? Because we went 6 times.
There's all the shit there.
And spent weeks there. We've spent weeks in the moon.
Yeah, we got it.
So Apollo 12. This is my point of
direction with it. Yeah.
This is my point of another reason of why. So like in 1969, they landed there, right?
Sorry, I'm still laughing at the idea. Like, why haven't you gone back to the moon? They're like, dude, not gonna lie, moon kind of sucks.
Yeah, the moon's mid, dude.
Moon is super fucking boring.
Honestly, we're not. And again, I don't even get. I don't even get cell service for 6 hours up there.
Bro, there's literally a Pizza Hut in there, and we go in. They don't even have the fucking buffet. Like,
yeah,
who wants to do that?
They got the red cups, but they don't.
What the fuck is Wing Street? I want the fucking buffet.
I'm not gonna sit here and eat your wings.
Wing Street.
Can I bring my own?
That would be. Can you imagine? So, you get into the rocket, and then as it's shooting off, you just hear. And then you look over and someone just has like food in a plastic bag, and
like you see one of those pizza tables floating by.
Like, dude, you can't bring your own pizza.
Oh,
was that not cool? Well, no, I'm eating it before we get to space.
One of the astronauts. So this is a fun story. I'll just kind of jump around a little bit. That first guy that went up there, Alan Shepard, I believe his name was.
Yeah.
Alan Shepard. After he went to the moon. Or he got shot into space. He was just shot into orbit.
Yeah.
He caught a disorder that's known as let me find it here. Meniere's disease. Do you know what Meniere's disease is?
No.
It's an inner ear disorder.
Oh, I did hear about this. Yeah.
And Dana White actually has it too. Do you know that?
Dana White went to the moon?
No,
he got it going to the moon?
He got it. He basically, I don't know how it happens. I'm assuming probably G-force training and piloting.
Didn't he got surgery so he could go to the moon?
You're talking about somebody bringing a pizza. He actually brought a golf ball with him.
Oh yeah.
Up to the moon and shot. This is how many times people have played golf on the moon.
Yeah.
That's how boring the moon is. That's the sport he chose to play up there. He didn't play fucking baseball. He didn't play fucking tennis. He played the most boring sport, fucking golf. So in 1960, hold on, let me get back to where it was here.
Yeah, they're on the moon. They're like, all the craters are the same depth. This is so boring.
Yeah. There's not even anything here. There's a rock we found. They actually one of the last missions that they sent somebody to the moon was they sent a geologist up there, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because they knew that so Apollo 12, let me just get back to the timeline.
Yeah.
Apollo 12, because Apollo 11 was a success, and it was the biggest success that they've had, and as soon as they did it, their budget gets drastically cut. So like that's another good point of why I think my theory, I'll start unveiling my theory here. I think that NASA was originally created to be another arm like the CIA, like the FBI, to do military shit, to basically have military ground on the moon. Figure out the military asset of the moon. And I think what they found was there is no military asset to the moon, so they stopped funding it.
Yeah.
Because NASA was originally founded by, in 1958, by Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Yeah.
And Dwight D. Eisenhower, at the end of his term, and somebody that was explaining it, or was made that speech about the military-industrial complex.
Yep. How they were gay as fuck.
What was Kennedy against the most?
Military-industrial complex.
Right. And
his monogamous relationships.
That's not on the record. That's not official business. But yes, true. But he was...
No, I support that.
But he was also... So, like, his vision was, I'm not doing this for military thing. I'm doing this because I think this is a good non-military way to have pride in our country, and also
get
for people
everyone
to
real
support
hyped.
our country.
Yeah.
To show our superiority without military.
Okay.
That's what his goal was with NASA.
Yeah.
Was true because it was invented by Dwight D. Eisenhower for
Dude, it's so funny.
The official term is it was founded in 1958 as the National Aeronautics and Space Administration in an independent agency of the US government, right? So like the CIA, like the FBI, anything like that. It's responsible for civil space program is what it's called.
Okay.
Aeronautics research and space research. So basically it was meant to, I think what he was maybe even saying is like, I think it's good to explore more. It's that's something we should aspire to. Also, we need to keep them from militarizing the moon. We need to keep the superiority by doing something like that.
It's so funny. It's like the more you learn it, the more obvious it becomes that they like assassinated JFK
because
it's like literally with everything he's doing, you're just like you got to imagine like the deep state and the military industrial complex and the CIA are like, this guy's a fucking dork.
Yeah.
He doesn't let us do anything fun.
He won't let us play our little reindeer games.
He won't let us put fucking rockets on the moon.
Right.
He won't let us fucking bomb American citizens and blame it on Cuba. He won't, like, he wants to shatter us. That's really mean. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's that's an interesting direction to go with it. How do you
It lines up with the Kennedy assassination.
Dude, that was the funniest part, because it's like anytime you learn about history in general, especially too if it leans a little more conspiratorial or whatever, you're always just like, wait, really? That connects to that?
Yeah,
that still connects to that.
And I think that's a part of it. Is Dwight D. Eisenhower warns about this, and Kennedy is such an advocate against it that he probably he's ruffling a lot of feathers,
a whole bunch of feathers.
But like him going like, no, I'm going to continue with NASA and with the space exploration, but to keep it honest, to keep it fucking like just in true exploration fashion. If we have the ability to go there, we like you said, the reason we should go there is because it's there.
Yeah,
we should go there.
We want to corral the people and put them in a good
mood. There's no malice behind this.
Yeah,
and like the fact that they're like, get that malice back in there. Pow, 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 pow.
Like, why do you want to? There's not even one Arab wedding happening up there. Why do you want to go there?
So I don't know if we are gonna try to cut this up or not. I don't know.
Do you have how much more do you have?
I have. Hold on, let me see. I'm right here. We're gonna talk about 12.
Oh, you do have a lot more.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I be real with you?
Yeah.
I'm about to have explosive diarrhea.
For real?
Not like literally, but just for funny's sake.
Oh, okay.
I have to go to the bathroom so fucking bad.
Okay.
This might be a good. I'm sorry the episode is early. I'm in a bad state right now. This might be a good place to wrap up.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we can hit it next week. We can hit the rest of it next week.
Oh yeah, I'm just taking some screenshots. So
also, too, I have so we're gonna do NASA and Apollo next week.
Yeah.
Okay, just a teaser in 2 weeks. I have a very fun CIA side quest.
Oh.
I'm so excited.
Okay, yeah.
So that's a little teaser in 2 weeks.
And we're going to talk about the start of the curse of the Apollo program.
I'm so sorry, dude. It's bad.
See you next week, guys.